Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 favourite makeup products from the year just been. Now most of these are not new products to the beauty world. I think actually only one of them is new this year, but most of them are new to me this year because I have just been buying makeup this year, obviously, and a couple of them are actually products that I showed in my favourites last year as well, which means that they are enduring and they are really, really great. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are on the hunt for some really last minute gift ideas for a beauty lover for Christmas, then hopefully this video is helpful for you. Please give the video a thumbs up at the end if you do enjoy it. Subscribe if you aren't already. I post a new video every Monday and Thursday. So the first product that I want to mention is one that you've heard me talk a lot about this year, and I got it for my birthday, which was back in May, so I've had it for a solid 6 months now, and it is the LOreal Pro palette. There is a LOreal Pro 2 and also a LOreal Pro 3 palette now, and I do want to get both of those, but for now I've been really happy with what is in this one. I feel like there's a really good colour range in here. There's lots of neutrals, there's a few little pops of colour, and I just feel like there's everything that you would need on a day-to-day basis in this palette. I even did the full face of makeup using one eyeshadow palette using this palette here, and it looked pretty good at the end, I have to say, so there is pretty much a colour for everything in here. I also love the quality of the eyeshadows in here. They're so buttery, they're so pigmented, and they're absolutely easy to blend. I find with a lot of eyeshadows, if they're not good quality, they can be really, really difficult to blend out. Like once you place the colour, that is it. It's really hard to move it. But with these ones, I don't have a problem at all. So I highly recommend that you pick this up if you haven't tried it already, or one of the other Pro palettes, because hopefully they're all the same quality. And if you do live in New Zealand and you want to pick this up but you're struggling to find it, I got mine from lafembeauty.co.nz. It's a really great website. It's actually brand new this year, and it stocks a lot of makeup that is really difficult to get here in New Zealand. They've got LOreal Physicians Formula, Too Faced, which is another brand that's really hard to get your hands on here in New Zealand, and it is a genuine LOreal Pro palette. While we're on the topic of palettes, the other one that I have been loving this year has been the Shaaanxo BH Cosmetics palette. Now this one was new this year. I believe it came out in April or sometime around then. It was super affordable, and the BH Cosmetics website ships worldwide, so it made it really easy for Shaaanxo's followers to get their hands on. What I love about this palette is that you get eyeshadows on one side, and the quality of the eyeshadows is amazing, and the colours are also really great neutrals as well. And then on the other side you get 9 lipsticks, and there are so many different colours. You've basically covered all your bases with these. I think it was a really innovative idea for Shannon to put lipsticks on the back of her palette, and because they're on the other side it means that the powder from the eyeshadow doesn't get into the lipsticks, but you still get twice as much product and 2 different types of product in one palette for still an amazing cheap price. I do have a full review of this palette up on my channel, which I posted quite a few months back when this was quite new. And in that I mentioned that one downside was the packaging, because mine did rip a little bit because I opened it too far, but I found that since then it hasn't ripped any further, and in general for the price I think that this is an amazing buy and you definitely get a good deal for your money. Next we're going to talk about highlighters, because this video is in no kind of order, so I have 2 highlighters to show you today. So the one that I got first in the year, which was back in February I believe, was the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Lightscapade. This is the highlighter designed more for paler skin. The normal one that people talk about is Soft and Gentle, but I was not sure if that one was going to be a little bit too dark for me, so I went for this one instead. And this highlighter is a really pale gold. It looks absolutely beautiful on my skin tone, and I have just absolutely loved it this year. It's really finely milled, and it's a perfect everyday highlighter. It never looks too much on me. And the other highlighter is one that I've purchased more recently, but I've still had a few months with it to give it a good go. It is the Mary Luminizer by The Balm, which again is a soft gold shade. This one is a lot more intense though. It's not as subtle as the MAC one, but saying that, it's not as intense as, for example, the Becca highlighters, from what I've been told anyway, because I don't actually own any of the Becca highlighters. And I really like the packaging of the Mary Luminizer, not because of the picture on the front, which I know is what gets most people, but that's not the sort of thing that I tend to go for. The reason I like the packaging of this is because it opens all the way up, and when it closes, it feels really sturdy and it's not going to fall open, and it's really slim. So since we've already talked about highlighters, let's just work our way backwards. So the blush that I liked the most this year was from MAC. This is the only blush from MAC that I've ever tried, and it is in the shade Desert Rose. Now when I went to buy this at the counter, the lady told me that it was going to be too dark for me, and she really tried to persuade me not to buy this. And at the time, we were in autumn going into winter, and I was just thinking, I want a dark blush. Like, I know my skin is lighter at the moment, but I want to look flushed, and I want this color on my cheeks because I just thought it would look really pretty in winter. Now, I've seen the people that work at beauty stores like MAC and Benefit and places like that, and I've seen them apply makeup, and honestly, if I applied my blush the way that they do, yes, it would be too dark for me. But I go a little more light-handed. I actually practice some caution when I apply my makeup, so this actually looked really good on me in autumn and winter. But anyway, I really enjoyed using this blush this year. I generally applied it with a stippling brush because I didn't want to pick up too much colour, but it is definitely my favourite blush of the year. Another favourite this year has been the Benefit Hoola Bronzer. Now, of course you've all seen this already, but this can be a bronzer and a contour depending where you put it and how you apply it. So I do use this in both. I tended to wear it more as a contour in winter, and now that it's summer, I'm wearing it more as a bronzer, and I'm not really contouring that much anymore. I found this to be a really good colour for me. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that it is a perfect colour for pale skin people, and then I've also heard people say that it is way too orange on pale skin. So I was really glad that this suited me really well and didn't look orange at all. The only thing that I don't really like about this is the packaging, because I feel like it takes up way more space than it needs to, but I guess that is because the brush comes in with it, but I personally don't agree that the brush is great. I tried it a couple of times and I didn't like it, but the product itself is amazing. We've got a couple of face products to talk about, and then we're on to lipsticks. So earlier in the year, I decided I was going to pick up the NARS Sheer Glow foundation, and I have loved this year. It matched me perfectly in autumn, it matched me perfectly in winter, it matched me perfectly in spring, and even now, a month into summer, it still matches me perfectly. So when most of my other foundations are way too dark because I obviously had them matched to me in like the middle of summer last year, this one is still going strong. Even though it doesn't look like it would match me, somehow once it's blended in, it looks perfect. I love the coverage of this. It's medium buildable. I always go for the medium though because I don't need a lot of coverage. It's got a beautiful glowy finish to it. It's everything that I love in a foundation, and also I bought the pump to go on top, which was only an extra $5. Everyone complains about having to buy the pump, but honestly, it's $5, and when I run out of this and get a new bottle, I can just take this pump off and use it again, so you only need to buy the pump once. Anyway, this was an expensive foundation. These are $82 here in New Zealand, but I bought it quite near the start of the year, I think, and I feel like it's nowhere near being used up, and I've been using it all year. Another favourite this year has been the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This one is the Set and Smooth. I'm not sure if it comes in two different formulas, but if it does, this is the one that I have. And the reason that I love this is that it doesn't mattify my foundation. I feel like the majority of my powders are mattifying powders, which is great for oily skin, and even for me, I love to look matte a lot of the time, but sometimes I don't, and when I don't, I go for this one because it does set my foundation in place. It makes sure that it's not going to transfer as much, but it still lets the glow shine through. For example, if I've used the NARS Sheer Glow, which has a glowy finish, and then I top it off with a mattifying powder, it's like, well, what was the point in using a glowy foundation? Whereas if I use this, they work together. Also, the price of this is a bonus. Most of the products that I've shown you today have been high-end, and I guess that's why I love them, because they're just better quality. But this is a drugstore product, obviously, because it's Maybelline, and it's still amazing. And the last two products that I have to talk about today are both lipsticks, and they were actually both in my favorites video from last year as well, which just goes to show how amazing they are. Now, I do have some newer lipstick favorites which I have been absolutely loving recently, but I have had them for less than a month. I think I've had them for about 3 weeks or so, so I feel like it's not fair to put them in a yearly favorites when I've only had them for such a short amount of time. So instead, we're going to stick with the oldies but goodies. So the first one is from Clarins, and this is the Rouge Eclat in the shade Wood Rose. This is One of the most beautiful lipstick colours that I've ever seen. It's got probably the most beautiful lipstick packaging that I own. The formula is incredible. It's so creamy, it's so moisturizing, it looks absolutely perfect on the lips. The color is absolutely stunning. It's like a mixture of nude, brown, and red, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. It's suitable for absolutely everything. I wore this to work all the time because it's close enough to a nude, it's like a dark nude, that I could get away with it for work. But I feel like I could also wear this at this time of year in the Christmas season because it's got enough red in it that I could make that work as well. I highly recommend, if you haven't checked out the Clarins Rouge Eclat lipsticks, you at least get yourself one. It doesn't need to be this color. Pick your favorite color and get that one because the formula is incredible. And the last product that I'm going to talk about today is a MAC lipstick. I'm going to give you a few seconds just to write a comment down below with your guess for what color you think this is before I tell you, okay? 5 seconds, go. Have you guessed? It's Velvet Teddy. This is the perfect nude shade for me. There's no red in this, it's just a brown, slightly dark nude. If I wear any pale nudes, they absolutely wash me out, they look ridiculous on me, but this one has just enough brown in it and it's just dark enough that it's just a My Lips but better color. It looks beautiful. I have seen some people wear it where it looks straight up brown, and I understand that some people don't like that look. It doesn't look brown on me, it looks like a nude. Generally, if I'm gonna have a no makeup day, I tend to wear 3 products. I do my brows, I do mascara, and I do lipstick. And if I'm gonna do that, I usually go with Velvet Teddy because then you can't really tell that I'm wearing lipstick, but it makes my whole look just a little bit better. I also love the formula of this lipstick. It is the matte formula, which means that it is going to stay in place. It is not going to transfer too much. It's going to last all day, but it's still comfortable. I'm sure most of you have already checked this out already, at least tried it on in the store and seen if it works for you. But if you haven't, I highly recommend, again, checking this one out, trying it on in the store, and just see how it works for your skin tone because it looks so good on so many people. We made it through my top 10 favorite makeup products of the year. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun filming this one because obviously I love everything that I just talked about. I really hope you enjoyed it too. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you next time. Bye!